Hey Gary, as always, it's great to talk to you. And I just kind of want to jump in today and go right at it. And today we're talking cellular, specifically 5G. So, I mean, what is 5G technology, and how does it differ from 4G or some of these other terms that we hear?
Yeah, great question, Nathan, and good to talk to you again. So, 5G technology is the fifth generation of cellular network technology that's now out there. It succeeds the 4G LTE technology that we're familiar with.
Hmm.
The whole goal and aim of 5G is to provide faster data speeds, lower latency, increased data capacity, and so forth, overall providing improved connectivity compared to the previous 4G generation. So basically, 5G operates in a broader range of frequency bands compared to 4G. 4G primarily utilizes the lower frequency bands below 6 gigahertz, Nathan, ranging from about 600 to 800 megahertz. The point being that 5G now offers these faster connectivity speeds for these new applications such as IoT coming upon us. So, with that said, 5G can be deployed on 600 megahertz or 6 gigahertz, but it can also utilize these higher frequency bands called millimeter wave frequency spectrums, which gives us the ability to provide faster data throughput and speeds, typically in that 24 gigahertz band. So these higher frequency bands that 5G operate on provides this larger capacity, and that's why it's so popular at the moment.
Gary, with all of this, like, what are some of the potential benefits that you see coming down the line with the adoption of 5G?
Yeah, great question. So 5G technology has the potential to revolutionize and enable many industries through this enhanced communications speeds. 5G is helping to streamline, automation processes, and of course, ultimately, data transmission. The innovation of 5G can really underpin things like the autonomous vehicles, virtual reality, augmented reality, and it's laying the groundworks for smart cities, smart city initiatives, that are using 5G to collect data on their sensory type networks. And I'll give you a good example of that is one massive innovation enabled by 5G technology is in fact the development and widespread adoption of the autonomous vehicle, right? With its with the 5G, ultra fast communication speeds and low latency, right? 5G enables the real time data exchange between vehicles and infrastructure and cloud-based systems, and this allows autonomous vehicles to make split decisions based on accurate and up-to-date information, leading to safer and more efficient, transportation systems. Nathan, additionally, 5G enables vehicle-to-vehicle communications and vehicle-to-infrastructure communications, facilitating, different, cooperative driving scenarios, enhancing overall traffic management. So 5G is an enabler of lots of new capabilities. And that's really the bottom line.
With all these great new capabilities and everything, we are seeing an adoption of this, but what are some of the challenges that we're facing in adopting this new 5G technology?
Okay. Again, I think to fully realize the benefits of the 5G technology, telecommunication companies and governments need to invest heavily in upgrading and expanding the existing infrastructure. This includes deploying new cellular towers, laying down fiber optic cables, installing advanced network equipment to support the increased bandwidth and connectivity demands of 5G. Again, a good example would be in urban areas where population density is high and the data traffic is intense. Upgrading the infrastructure to accommodate 5G can be particularly challenging due to the needs for this extensive network densification, if that makes sense. And of course, on the opposite side of that, additionally, rural and remote areas may face infrastructure challenges as the cost of deploying 5G infrastructure in those areas may be prohibitive, just compared to urban areas. So as a result, bridging the digital divide, we've talked about that many times, and ensuring everyone has access to 5G technology remains a significant challenge for stakeholders involved in the 5G deployments.
With this happening and this adoption going on, how can businesses prepare for the arrival of 5G and the adoption of 5G? And honestly, on a bigger scale too, like what role does 5G play in IoT, in the Internet of Things? Like how does this all work together?
Okay, and of course that's the catalyst behind it all, right? So again, I think companies preparing for the arrival of 5G technology involves a combination of understanding the potential impact and assessing the current infrastructure and the capabilities that it brings, right? Mm-hmm. As I previously mentioned, right, the goal of leveraging 5G is all about competitive advantage and unlocking new revenue potential for these companies. So embracing 5G technology offers businesses a significant competitive advantage with its faster data speeds, lower latency, and support for a massive number of connected devices, allowing customers to enhance their operations, improve productivity, and of course deliver a superior customer experience. By understanding the potential impact of 5G and strategically assessing how it can help be integrated into the infrastructure and services, businesses can stay ahead of the competitors and capture new markets, basically. So 5G is poised to really revolutionize the Internet of Things, whereby it's possible for massive as well as critical deployments to take place, allowing for the real-time processing, monitoring, and asset tracking of these assets that they have in the field, and of course leveraging the big data analytics to really enhance their business processes. And ultimately, the goal of 5G is to unlock the new revenue potential that's associated with these efficiencies.
We love talking about all the great things and all the potential that comes with a technology such as 5G, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the other side of that. So take a minute for me and just give me an idea of what are the risks and threats that come with the adoption and the growth of 5G technology.
Yeah, again, so as you know, I'm a cybersecurity professional. I'm always thinking the risks and threats associated with cellular technologies in general. But as businesses gear up for the introduction of 5G, it's really crucial to grasp the unique risks and threats associated with this next generation cellular capability, basically. The top three, security risks or threats that come to mind, of course, is cybersecurity vulnerabilities, supply chain risks and threats, as well as the privacy concerns associated with 5G. So if you think about it, right, with the increased speeds, connectivity, and complexity of these 5G networks, there's a heightened risk of cybersecurity breaches. Hackers may exploit vulnerabilities in 5G infrastructure, devices, and protocols to launch various types of cyber attacks, such as data breaches resulting from ransomware, or distributed denial of service attacks based on new 5G networks. And just because of the massive number of connected devices being enabled by 5G, is also expanding the attack surface, making it a significant challenge for customers to defend against these potential threats. And then on the privacy concern side, right, the extensive data transmission capabilities of 5G networks raise significant privacy concerns, because as more devices, if you think about it, Nathan, as more devices connect to the network and they exchange sensitive information, right, there is a risk of unauthorized access to personal and business data. This includes location tracking, browsing history, and other potentially confidential information which could be exploited for malicious purposes or unauthorized surveillance. So businesses should really look into new cellular intrusion detection platforms like the AirShield, the AirShield wireless airspace defense platform that we have here at Lock, to help them detect, assess, and prevent risks from this new 5G, cellular attack base that's now emerging. And I say finally on the supply chain risk, right? With the global rollout of 5G, with the global rollout of 5G infrastructure involves many, suppliers, now affecting, the supply chain, spanning across, many vendors, many manufacturers, as they say, and of course that in itself introduces risks related to the, the supply chain security, whereby counterfeit products, tampered hardware could be actually inserted into components during that process. So as we all know as security professionals, right, a compromised supply chain can affect the integrity and security of that 5G network, right, potentially having these counterfeit products or foreign products, chips, basically on the motherboards. So again, the whole purpose of this is it's potentially 5G could potentially lead to service disruptions, could lead to data breaches via the supply chain, and ultimately financial loss if in fact they're not monitoring for nefarious 5G communications or chipsets that could be foreign on their motherboards or equipment coming into their facilities. So bottom line is businesses should conduct thorough risk assessments, penetration testing type systems. They should have continuous monitoring in place for cellular risks and threats, including the layer 0 risks and threats. This is the EMI emissions. We did an article on that just a few weeks ago. Yep. EMI exploitation is now having a significant impact on the supply chain. But businesses should really look at new ways and methodologies to reduce their risk as they start to think about this mass market and critical deployment of 5G.
So Gary, how does Lock help to solve and kind of work with these new risks and threats associated with 5G?
Yeah, again, it's a good question, right? And having been in the wireless security space for many years, I've got a lot of scar tissues around this. So at Lock, we built a platform called AirShield. AirShield provides RF surveillance and threat monitoring across our platforms. It not only understands cellular 4G, 5G risks and threats, but also extends to CBRS. We talked about that last week, citizens band radio or citizens broadband radio, and so forth. The AirShield platform also extends to IoT, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. In fact, there's a new standard coming out, Wi-Fi 6E, and Wi-Fi 7 is just around the corner. So the AirShield platform provides this ability to monitor, all RF emissions within a customer's airspace. Nathan, at the heart of our solution, at the heart of our technology, we use what's called a software-defined radio, and it can be tuned to any frequency with the goal of providing asset discovery, classification, and highlighting unacceptable exposure states. Of course, we'd like to rank those exposure states in order of severity, so customers can fix those vulnerabilities or exposure states before loss or incident occurs. And then finally, AirShield offers this over-the-air mitigation capability through what's called air termination. So our customers are using AirShield to be able to identify assets in the airspace, understand if they're within a codification to risk, and if they're not, they have this ability either manually or automated to do this air termination capability to keep the hackers or attacks off their wireless network. And of course, 5G is a wireless network, so it's pretty important to understand what is going on within that environment, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously the goal is just to be able to prevent them from getting in there ever, and know that they're doing it and stop them before it ever gets in. So that makes
exactly
sense.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the questions. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Garry.
Okay, thank you.